host. And today, we're going to talk about cookie cutter solutions. Well, that's something this is something I've really, this year, 2019, has been something I really had to be on a spiritual journey to. It's so much information out there, and a lot of it's good. But guess what? A lot of it is not so good. Why? Because a lot of times we have these canned information, right? We have this cookie cutter information where we giving people, everybody getting, hey, this is what you do. You know what? That's not the case. Hey, if you want to lose weight, you do this. Well, that may work for some people, but it depends on their ability, depends on their body type, depends on a lot of their belief systems, right? So if they have a specific issue, they're going to need a specific solution. So on my quest to get out, anybody that know my story, I come from a underserved background, resource restricted, used to be in a criminal enterprise, turning myself around, but still really struggled to catch that fire, to strike that fire. So then I get all these people that are being experts, giving me all this expert advice. Well, hey, did you do this? Did you do this? And they just haven't walked in my shoes because they just don't understand my circumstance. And they say, oh, well, don't make excuses, make it happen. And a lot of times these people are giving you, advice and they living in privileged positions. So it's just like me telling somebody that's wheelchair bound, well, hey man, just walk up the steps. I know you're in a wheelchair, but hey, just take the steps. Don't take the easy way. Don't take the elevator. Take the steps. Because I'm able-bodied and I'm walking up the steps. And I'm giving somebody some general information. But my information don't apply. It's not specific to their issue. So a lot of times we got to come up with the solution to meet the problem that we find. Your situation may be similar, but it's not identical to mine. So a lot of times we take these cookie cutter approaches and we wonder why they don't work. We're unique people. We got unique fingerprints, right? If something happened to us, they find a body, it ain't like, oh, well, it's such and such. That's Jane Doe. That's this. No. Hey, if the soft tissues are rolled, hey, let's do some dental work. Why? Because you're unique. Because you're not just anybody. You're not just everybody. Sometimes we got to work on a very specific solution for our lives. Some of us are on a spiritual journey. Some of us are on a journey to acquire wealth. Some of us are on a journey for health. For some of us, like myself, it's a combination thing. I want ultimate prosperity. I don't want to just be monetarily well off and I'm slimy and grimy and I'm doing it at the expense of other people. When I was in the criminal enterprise, that's what I was doing. I just thought about myself. I just thought about feeding my family and getting everything for me at the expense of my society, at the expense of my community. And I done grew out of that. So now I feel like if it caused violence to my conscience, if I feel like I got to be slimy and grimy, if I'm taking advantage of somebody, that's not what I want to do. If I feel bad, like, man, I shouldn't sold grandma that package. I want to walk away and feel like, you know what, hey, I gave her some good advice. I gave some good value. I provided some good value and I sleep good. That's what I want. Okay? So, a lot of times, don't get so frustrated when this don't work for you, that don't work for you. You are an individual. You are unique. And sometimes you're going to require a unique solution. Now, there are some things where you can generalize on certain things. Like we generalize about having a plan. It's better to stay ready than to get ready. But there are times where there's certain routes that it don't work for you. It's not going to work for you because your situation is so unique. And only you know this. And this is where you got to take time to really know yourself. Spend time evaluating yourself. Spend time reflecting. Do a gap analysis. This is where I am. This is where I want to be. See, because if I'm trying to tell you, hey, look, I'm trying to tell you about some spiritual wealth, and you ain't trying to be in the spiritual space, that don't mean nothing to you. If you're not on a spiritual journey, you don't want to hear that. And if somebody else say, hey, look, man, I'm trying to be a trillionaire. Well, if you're not trying to be a trillionaire, that information ain't going to be pertinent to you. Everybody don't want to be Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. Contrary to belief, because a lot of people don't want to put in the work that it's going to require. Or they have spiritual contradictions. Regardless of how you may feel about it. You may feel like, oh yeah, they got that gospel of poverty. Whatever you feel, you're entitled to feel that way. Because this is your life. It's just like it's their life. If somebody say, hey, look, I'm not willing to suffer for that kind of life. Just like a monk, right? A monk, they on a spiritual journey, right? They want spiritual wealth. So they go without, hey, I don't want creature comforts. I don't care about an iPhone. I don't care about Netflix. None of that. I care about this spiritual intimacy. So in that space, those monks are in a spiritual space equivalent to a Jeff Bezos in a monetary space. Everybody don't want the same thing. This is why you got to examine your soul and your mission and your goals. And you got to face your specific problem with a very specific solution. So if you find yourself not falling into the fold like everybody else, a lot of times it's because you're not everybody else. And sometimes you got to do it differently. All right, that's my time. Please subscribe. Please share. In the meantime, persist, believe, and achieve.